Welcome to Ntiva's webinar for June 2025. I'll be your host, Ted Brown, Director of IT Architecture. Imagine a world where your business processes are streamlined, your customer interactions are more insightful, and your decision making is bolstered by the power of artificial intelligence, all without acquiring a vast knowledge of coding. This is the promise of Copilot Studios, designed to democratize AI. Copilot Studios offers tools that allow businesses to integrate advanced AI functions effortlessly. Whether you're looking to enhance productivity, improve customer service, or gain deep insights into market trends, Copilot Studios can be your gateway to the future. With foundational elements tailored to both novices and seasoned professionals, the platform bridges the gap between complex AI technologies and practical business applications. It's a transformative tool that revolutionizes how operations innovates and competes. The excitement doesn't just lie with the technology itself, but the endless possibilities to open up your business. And as I mentioned, we're going to talk a lot about Copilot Studios today. Go pretty much what is Copilot Studios, how it works, go through a couple use cases. I could spend probably all day on use cases, give a little bit of demo, and then get into the most important part, the pricing, how it impacts your bottom line. So, what is Copilot Studios? Copilot Studios is a low code, end to end conversational AI platform for building custom AI assistants called agents that integrate with Microsoft 365 and other systems. It allows organizations to create and deploy AI powered copilots that can interact in natural language, automate workflows, and answer questions across multiple applications and channels with it creating a world of possibilities. Now, Copilot Studios is a graphical, low-code tool building AI agents and workflows. It puts the power of generative AI into the hands of users, even those without extensive coding experience, by providing intuitive interface to design, test, and deploy AI agents. In the next couple slides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some key elements of how Copilot Studios functions and the process by how it delivers its AI responses. So the first part here, Copilot Studios allows you to design agents, which are AI-driven assistants that handle conversations and tasks. An agent coordinates a collection of AI models along with instructions, context, knowledge sources, and actions to achieve goals. These agents can determine how to respond to a user's input and even take actions like a query or a database or sending an email based on context. AI agents leverage large language models to generate human-like responses and decisions. And a standout feature of Copilot Studio is its ability to connect various data sources using a pre-built or custom plugins. This means that your Copilot agent isn't limited to just general knowledge. You can plug into your enterprise data, databases, or utilize APIs to connect to external sources. For example, a Copilot Studio integrates deeply with the Microsoft Power Platform and other services, allowing agents to trigger Power Platform flows, retrieve data from the Dataverse, or query Power BI dashboards, or using custom connections to access third-party systems. This orchestration of data and actions ensures that agents' responses are context-rich and perform real tasks, not just chats. Copilot Studio agents can be deployed across multiple channels and applications. You can publish your agents on websites, mobile apps, social media like Facebook or WhatsApp, or in internal channels like Microsoft Teams and SharePoint, which I believe will be the first place you potentially utilize your Copilot agents. The same agent can assist users on your public website or within your organization's team chats. Moreover, agents support multiple languages out of the box, enabling global and multilingual support. This flexibility ensures that Copilot Studios can reach users wherever they are through whatever interface is most convenient for you. Now, when a user interacts with a Copilot, for example, asking a question in chat or entering command in an app, Copilot Studios follows a series of steps to produce an answer within the platform. The user asks a question and provides a prompt. What is the status of order 12345? Copilot Studios first pre-processes this query by using grounding techniques. It retrieves relevant context or data, such as looking up the order 12345 in the database, to ground the AI responses in an up-to-date factual information. The ground query, which will include the retrieval context, is sent to a large language model. The large language model processes the input and generates a draft response in natural language. This response can include answers, explanations, or recommended actions. And formulative based on both the user's question and on the grounded data. Copilot Studio then post processes the large language model's output. This step includes applying AI checks, security features, or security filters, and privacy reviews to ensure that the response complies with organizational policies and doesn't reveal sensitive information. Any integrated actions like updating a record or sending in information are also prepared at this stage. The final response is returned to the user through the channel they use, Teams, chat, etc. For instance, the user sees the answer to their question or a confirmation that the task was completed. Copilot Studios also logs the interaction in the agent's interaction history for a purpose to go back and look at how people are utilizing this agent. And some of the benefits of Copilot Studios is its ability to have low code development, like I mentioned. It empowers both the technical and non technical users to create AI solutions without heavy coding. Users can describe the agent's purpose in plain language, and the Copilot Studio will generate an intuitive steps to create this agent, which can be refined through custom settings afterwards. This low-code approach accelerates the development and removes the IT bottlenecks, enable faster innovation and prototyping. Another benefit is Copilot's powerful AI and orchestration. Under the hood, Copilot Studios leverages advanced AI, including the OpenAI GPT models, for natural language understanding and generation. It also orchestrates calls to various services and knowledge bases as needed. The system can handle complex conversations, maintain context, and even make decisions on actions to take next based on your instructions and user's intent. This makes the agents context aware, capable of multi-turn dialogues to resolve a user's request effectively. And Microsoft 365 integration is built into the solution. If you already have Microsoft 365, the AI feature embedded in apps like such as Word, Excel, Outlook, and Teams, the Copilot Studio allows you to custom build your own Copilot experience on top of it. For example, you can create a custom agent that lives within Teams or SharePoint to handle special queries like internal help desk spot. Agents created in Copilot Studio can also incorporate into Microsoft 365 Copilot interfaces, meaning users with Copilot license can invoke these custom agents directly within regular Office apps like Word, Excel at no extra charge. This integration brings the enterprise-specific knowledge to familiar 365 environments seamlessly. Copilot Studio also includes analytics, providing a dashboard and reports to monitor how your agents are performing. You can see usage statistics, success rates, or even business impact metrics via Viva Insights integration. This helps in continuously improving the agents and demonstrating ROI. Administrators also have tools for monitoring capacity, number of messages used, or anything along that might impact the actual cost of the system and set up users when you're approaching potential alerts, potential limits of your cost. And being part of the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, Copilot adheres to enterprise-grade security, privacy, and compliance standards. Data processing by agents can be kept within your team's compliance boundaries. Admins can manage who can access and build users and agents. Additionally, each agent interactions can be excluded or mask sensitive information as needed, and Copilot Studio provides enforcement policies to prevent overuse or abuse. For instance, it can enforce monthly message limits to avoid runaway usage. Now, like I mentioned before, I probably spend all day on this part of kind of going through some highlights of use cases. So I do have three that I think will probably make sure you can see it happening in your organization today. And usually one of the things I see first on when you're looking at AI Copilot agents is, how can I use an agent to help create data? And organizations can use Copilot Studio to create agents that help create creation content. For example, an agent can draft an initial document or reports based on a prompt, give a user the first edition. Copilot agents can also summarize lengthy documents or threads into concise bullet points. This is useful for digesting long reports, legal documents, or research papers into key takeaways. By automating drafting and summarizations, business can save time on writing tasks, ensuring important information is not overlooked. Another kind of a popular application is building customer-facing chatbots for support or service. Copilot Studio agents can be deployed on company websites or messaging platforms to answer customer queries and resolve common issues. They can handle questions about product information, troubleshooting steps, store hours, openings, and locations, and much more than that. For instance, a retail company might have a Copilot agent on its e-commerce site that helps customers track orders, return items, or find product details via a conversational interface. These AI agents provide an instant response 24/7, never taking a break, no vacation needed, and improving customer satisfaction and reducing the load of human support teams. And the last example, which I can think can have an easy win within most organizations, is to have Copilot Studio agents serve as a virtual assistants for your employees. Companies can build a Copilot that can answer HR related questions. What's my benefits, vacation policy, health information, or potentially go into IT support questions. How do I reset my password? How do I do a certain function within a specific software that my company has? Instead of searching through the internet, your internet pages or submitting a help desk ticket, employees can ask a Copilot agent in natural language and get immediate answers or even have this simple task carried out for them. This improves the internal responsiveness and frees up HR or IT staff for more complex information or questions. Now that I've kind of gone through the how, the what, and how it kind of works and some use cases, I think it's probably good to see a little bit of a demo to see how easy it is to create your first Copilot agent. So let me pop over here. So I'm going to be doing this in my test company here. This is my tomorrow's firm today. And I am in just, if you go to portal.office.com, you'll be presented to this new look for Microsoft. Now, I'm probably going to have a webinar coming up soon on the new look when you log into Microsoft 365 through the web. They're really pushing everything to the Microsoft Copilot location here. And at first, it was a little bit off-putting. It was different. I wasn't sure about it. But now that I've actually been using it for about a week, week and a half, I love it. So I'll probably do another webinar going through the highlights and what you can do with it. But I've gotten used to this page, and I think it's fantastic. So as you can see here, there is a create agent and all agents underneath the chat feature here in my Microsoft 365 Copilot portal. So I can go here and click create agent if I wanted to, which will bring up this Copilot Studio. If you can see this in this area right here. I'm actually going to do it in another location. We can go to Copilot Studio.microsoft.com and click enter. And this will bring me to my Copilot Studio portal. It'll be very similar to the one I saw here. Oh, hold on a second, return. There we go. Now I am at my Copilot Studio portal. So I have right here, describe your agent to create it. And like I mentioned in the earlier in the webinar, you can create an agent manually if you wanted to, or you can just kind of type it in and have it create yourself. So for this purpose here, I want to create a chatbot to help me provide product information for my new bike launch. And I'm going to click enter, and it's going to bring me to asking me questions about what are you trying to do. So you can see, hello, I'm here to build an agent. What can I do for you? You can say things like provide best practices, help my teammates. What would you like to do? So great. Let's get this started. How about let's go ahead and name this bike info bot. Great. That sounds good. Let's name our bike. That sounds good. Name it that. And while I'm going through this, you can see on the right side, it's actually building out what I'm talking about putting in here and kind of creating the foundation of this agent. Now that the name is bike info, it's been set. Let's refine what specific information about the new bike launch should the agent provide. For example, details about bike features, pricing, availability. Yes, that sounds good. All of that. And you can see here, share promotion of the offer and launches, ensure responses are accurate, up to date. Would you like to add public accessible knowledge sources for the bike info bot? Now, if I had a website that presented stuff like this, I'd probably pop it in. I will go ahead and say Ntiva.com, even though we don't sell bikes. I'll go ahead and put it in there just to see. Now I'm going to pop it in. I'm hoping what you hear, confirm that your organization owns this website, which can be used, enable Bing results. So I can confirm that so you can see how that would happen. Do you have any modifications you'd like to make to the bot? Nope. That is great. Thank you. All right, so now that I have put this in here to create the foundational piece of my first Copilot agent, it says it's good to go. So now the next step after I build all this is hit create. So I'm going to hit create. Now it's setting up my agent. I could have said skip this and I would have gone the whole chat feature and I would have gone right to this page so I can done this manually. But this kind of allows you to chat with it within the interface to help kind of build out that predefined list to at least help you get started if you've never used this before. So you can see here my bike info bot, that's the name of it. I can provide general information about the new bikes feature, pricing, availability, answer any questions related to the bike launch, etc. Orchestration, use generative AI to determine how best to respond to users. I have this enabled. Knowledge, here it is. I have website information. That would pull this if it had anything about the bike itself. And it has some other option in here, which I'll get to in a second. So I have my overview, but I also have the knowledge piece here. And I think this knowledge piece is key to understand. So if I click the overview, you can see here the knowledge in Ntiva.com. It's the same link, just in a different little page right here. So this is where you potentially would go ahead and add in the knowledge of how you want this AI chatbot to understand and communicate to your users or customers with. So if I went add knowledge here, I can drag in information. So I do have one pre-built for this one. I'll show it afterwards. So I had a handful of files about this fun little e-bike that we're trying to sell that I just uploaded straight to this and it would learn it instantly. Or maybe you have a SharePoint site. We can click on SharePoint and find the location where that's housed. So if you have a SharePoint site with all your HR information, you can hit SharePoint, go to the location, have it learn it, index it, and then people communicate with that information right there. However, very important to know, the chatbot will take whatever is in there as accuracy and it's correct. So you need to make sure that you understand the data that's in that SharePoint location or the Word document or the Excel information that's being put up in there. The data that's presented to it thinks that that is accurate. So you're controlling the accuracy that this bot is communicating back on. Very important to understand. So now that I actually have that in there, I can click on different tools if I want to add any type of agents to do certain things. Let me go back to the overview. Tools, triggers. So maybe if I want to set this up as I want to kick this off when a form is created, or if I have something in Planner to kick this off. So you can see that this is more like the orchestration that can happen. If you've seen the webinar I did, I believe last summer about Power Apps, this gets into that Power Apps, Power Automation, utilizing that on the back end to trigger certain actions when things occur. So it looks very similar. You just pick one of these things, a SharePoint item is created, boom, this triggers the AI bot to take an action somewhere. But we wanted to make this more of a conversational bot, so there's really no need to do that. Tools, you can see here, again, if I want to connect it into an Excel Online or the Dataverse or things like that, it connected into that piece through the tools piece right here. And you can see as well, this is all in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. You do have connectors if you want to get in here and connect into other solutions that are already created within the system here, your Blackbaud, your Bitbucket, Bibity, Azure. So there's a whole bunch of already pre-built connections you can connect in there to get the data going within the actual Copilot agent. So now that I have my knowledge in there, I have my topics conversation, don't really need to do anything with that. You can see suggested prompts. If people get to this AI agent, they have a couple suggested prompts. Can tell me about the features, what's the pricing, typical things like that. If you want to get them thinking about how to use the bot, you can actually come in here and add more things into this to have a suggested prompt to get people thinking how to utilize your agent itself. And you also have description. I really find the description is really important. So what's this bot going to do? So you can come in here and describe the bot in your own words if the creation of this when you're talking through the wizard didn't actually create it correctly. So you can actually provide that information there. And if you want to change the icon, if I had a really neat icon here of a bike, I'd pop that right on in. So you can see here this really overview and the tabs here follow right in line. You got your tools, your topics. And activity right here is what I'm talking about. If you had the ability to see how this bot's being used once it's launched, your analytics. But the last piece here is your channels. How do you want people to utilize this bot once it's created? So you have demo website, all these different things, SharePoint. For the most part, I recommend trying out in your teams in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you go ahead and click this, select. I need to publish it first. So click here to publish, hit publish. It'll go through this publishing process. All along while, if I want to, there is a test your agent so you can see how it's doing off your information. And that will take a little bit to publish, and I put it to my Teams app that I have right there. So I do have one already pre-built and configured. So let me go to my agents. Got my Tomorrow's Firm Today product bot. So I already created this right here. So I'm going to jump into it so you can see it a little bit. Open agent. And you can see here a couple sessions that's used. And when I click on knowledge, like I mentioned, I uploaded a couple Excel docs, a Thunderbolt specific information, a Word doc, as well as PowerPoint here. And I did that on purpose and see if it actually does something here. Hopefully it comes up during my testing. So now that I have my bot, it's published, I'm good to go. It's in my channels for Teams right here. It's all set. So I'm going to come over to Microsoft 365, and now I have my bot right here, Tomorrow's Firm Today product bot. So here I can go, here, tell me all about this electric bike. Now, a pretty basic question right here. We'll see what comes up. And you'll see here it has the dots in line here, letting you know it's thinking, process the information. And it popped this information up. So it gave a pretty nice little summary of everything that's going. So it tells me that here's the information about this bike that we have, its battery capacity, performance, design. I believe it had in here's the price right here. Oh, great. So how does this bike compare to others in the marketplace? Well, please. And now, since it's doing stuff through generative AI, it's going to take the information I have that I grounded it with information about the bike, and then also go out there and search the web for other electric bikes to potentially compare it to. The other thing to note while it's thinking here is it does citations. So right here, it brought back the actual specific doc that I had to talk about. So if I clicked on this, it should verify the link and allow me to go to that actual document itself to open it up if necessary. Should open up another page. I'll come up in a second. Here's this information about the bike, capacity. Yeah, so these are other different types of bikes. Thunderbolt comparison, other bikes out there. And I was hoping to sell. Help me create a email to promote. And if I want to, salesperson come work with this, ask information about it, how to create a promotion, create a something to put out there on email or on your website to kind of create a promotional link. So you can ask anything you want from this document itself. And here you go. Came back pretty quickly, changed the name, and off you go. So I find that pretty easy to use. So as you can see here, I spent probably all of 5 minutes putting this together, and I have an AI chatbot that's specialized on this product doc. Let's take that further. So let's think about if you had multiple products or multiple different offerings, you could put it all together within this AI bot and allow it to talk back to you about all the different information that's happening on it. The other thing I mentioned during one of the use cases is an HR assistant. So you can create an HR bot as I mentioned here, and here, how many days do I get for vacation? So common question, how many vacation days do I get? And so if you have this connected into your HR policies, or you have any type of user handbook that has information, go ahead and put an AI chatbot in it, and then your end users and your employees can talk and ask questions about it. So potentially limit questions to your HR staff. So here it is this is just a fake one here. It kind of gives everything out. Another one is, let's see here. How much money do I get per day for food while traveling. And it should find that information out pretty quickly. So these are pretty easy questions that your people team could or HR team could answer. But if you're able to put it right in the forefront of an AI bot accessing this exact information right here, boom, here's my reimbursement detail. Finds it pretty quickly, gives it back to me, and now I'm able to get my answer and go. So very easy to do. And what I love about it, it doesn't require any coding to do up front for this actually small level test. Recommend people trying out, see how it works with you, put it into your SharePoint, find accurate data that you know is correct, that people ask questions about, and try it with that. It doesn't take long to actually put together a proof of concept to see how it will be used. And then from there, you can come back into your agent itself and then take a look at the specific use cases, how often it's being used, analytics. If you spend all this time creating a bot and find out, hey, there's no more than 3 sessions on it after about a month of use, maybe people don't know about it, not going to the right channel, or maybe it's not actually providing accurate information. How can I go back in there and make it more functional, more usable for the experience I'm trying to offer to whomever my customer is of that bot itself? So as you can see, very easy to put together the Copilot. You can do it straight from the Copilot chat right here, create agent, same thing. Or you can come into the Copilot Studio, which will actually show you all the information about all your actual bots itself and do it right there. Pretty easy to get started. Recommend definitely give it a try. All right. So let's move on from this and get into, which is probably the next popular question is, what's this going to cost? So I get that. How is Copilot priced? What will it cost us to use it? And Microsoft has set up Copilot to come in flexible pricing options intended to fit different usage patterns. Microsoft model ensures for you pay as what you use in terms of AI interactions by offering three main licensing options. You got your subscription-based message packs, your pay-as-you-go meter approach, and the all inclusion of utilizing it with Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So let's go ahead and get into the Copilot purchase pack. So they've created a standalone license in a form of what they call as a message pack. A message pack provides a fixed allotment of Copilot Studio usage for an entire tenant. Each pack includes 25,000 messages, so you're going back and forth with the chat per month, and is priced at $200 per month. You can purchase multiple packs if you expect higher volumes, 2 packs, 50,000 messages, and so on. These packs are essentially a subscription to Copilot Studio service capacity. Now, how it works. Every time one of your Copilot Studio agents processes a user query or action, it counts as a message towards your total monthly count. The message pack model is good for predicting or predictable or high volume usage because you know in advance of how much you're going to pay per month and the capacity you get with it. For instance, if you have a customer service bot that handles roughly 20,000 messages from customers each month, a single pack of $200 covers that with some room to spare. The pricing comes out to be less than a cent per message if you utilize the fully for all 25,000 messages, which is slightly cheaper than doing the whole pay-as-you-go, which I'm going to get into the next slide. The unused messages is very important. Do not roll over. So potentially, if you have 25,000 messages and you only are using 5,000, you might be overpaying. But if you're overusing, let's say you're using 30,000 messages, you'll have to have multiple packs or you have to add in a pay-as-you-go option for the excess of that 25,000. So Microsoft emphasizes that you need to have the extra capacity beyond the packs. You should enable pay-as-you-go as fallback to ensure that you have continual access to your bot. Now, there is also a pay-as-you-go model, which offers maximum flexibility by letting you pay for what is used. There is no upfront cost or commitment. Instead, Copilot Studio usage is metered. You're billed monthly for the actual number of messages the agent processes or multiple agents processes. The rate is about 1 cent per message on the pay-as-you-go model. This option works through the Azure subscription, and essentially you link up your Power Platform environment to Azure billing account and Microsoft charges the Copilot Studio usage to Azure, much like an Azure consumption today. And at the end of the month, if your agent handles 10,000 messages, your cost for that month would be about $100. 1 cent times 10,000, $100. And if the month spikes to being 50,000 messages, your monthly cost will be $500. But if another month it's only 2,000 messages, it's $20. You get the point. So it allows a lot of flexibility with this model. I find it's great for pilot projects. And also if you have a kind of a seasonal workload or uncertain about your adoption, go with this and then go into the usage pack if necessary. This way, you're not paying for capacity that's not being used. Additionally, the pay-as-you-go can serve as a safety net, even if you have the message packs. If you exhaust your prepaid messages, like I mentioned before, say you go to 30,000 messages over the 25, the prepaid will take care of the next 5,000 messages. So therefore, you can continue to use your bot even though you've gone over that first message allotment. So very flexible. It's a little bit more expensive than the allotment you get for the 25,000, but allows you to only pay for what's needed at that moment in time. And then the next one is if your organization has purchased Microsoft Copilot licenses, your users that are assigned these licenses can utilize Copilot usage itself. It's all included at no extra cost for those users. In other words, if you build an agent with Copilot Studio and deploy inside Microsoft Copilot, for example, as an agent in Teams accessible through the Copilot interface for licensed users, the messages those users send to the agents do not count against the Copilot Studio message pack. So very important to understand, if I'm a Copilot license, I'm paying that $31.50 per month for the full Microsoft 365 Copilot user in Word, Excel, my favorite one in Teams and Outlook. If I utilize any agent that's going through Copilot Studio for asking questions, my messages do not count. But if I have a colleague that does not have a Copilot Microsoft 365 Copilot license and they use a agent that's going through Copilot Studio, their messages count to that total allotment. So that's how it works. So it's important to understand how many people in your organization have this because that will dictate the total usage count of what you need to plan for the cost of your agent. Now, it's important to know that it definitely, in my mind, this is going to improve over time, but I think Copilot Studio works best if your data and workflows are within or accessible to the Microsoft ecosystem. The Microsoft Copilot 365 license integration requires to have an eligible Microsoft 365 subscription. Also, Copilot can run on third-party connections via connectors and APIs, but doing so might involve additional licensing for premium connections or potentially custom development to make it work. If your enterprise systems are entirely outside the Microsoft sphere, more effort is involved to integrate them into Copilot Studios. So in short, Copilot Studio is ideal for organizations already in Microsoft 365, Azure, or the Power Platform using Dynamics. Others can definitely still benefit, but should be prepared for some integration work to connect it all together. And Copilot Studio provides a framework and pre-trained AI models. Making an agent truly effective for your needs requires thoughtful configuration. You'll likely need to invest time in teaching Copilot, providing it with company FAQs, documents, configuring knowledge sources. Like I mentioned before, it's only as good as the information you're putting into it. So during the early deployment, agents might need to be tuned to handle unexpected queries to avoid incorrect information. So I recommend testing it out before you put it out to everybody. Do kind of a rigorous testing. If I ask this question, what am I getting? To make sure that it's the expectation of the question coming back or the answering the question is accurate coming back. You've gone through that testing analysis. And it doesn't just happen at that once. I really think it is an ongoing process for the testing. And this could be made easier through the analytics and the feedback loop they have built into this. And it's wise to run a pilot or beta of your Copilot agent to refine for any type of additional features before a full launch, ensuring it meets the qualified expectations and the users will be satisfied when it's actually put forth and not having to go back and forth to make sure, hey, this time it's going to be good after I made these changes. It's always good to do a presentation. It's working better than expected to the mass of people utilizing because you went through that testing and beta testing process. And as with AI, the Copilot generates content, and organizations must consider the data that's fed into Copilot and how the responses are used. Copilot Studios does enforce organizational data boundaries. Your data does remain your own and compliance filters, but users should still be cautious not to input highly sensitive personal data unless the system is explicitly set up for that purpose. Additionally, AI can sometimes produce incorrect or biased outputs if not governed well. Human oversight is recommended for crucial functions, and clear user communication should be in place. For example, letting users know they're chatting with an AI and not a human, especially if you're utilizing this for external customer service scenarios. People never like to know they're talking to a bot. They would rather probably talk to a human. So if you're putting it up front that this is a bot doing this specific case, it's a little easier to talk in that direction, knowing that it is a not a human behind the scenes. And overall, understanding limitations allows teams to mitigate risks. For example, by choosing the right license plans to avoid overcharges and integrating with Azure OpenAI service if custom model tuning is needed, or setting up proper monitoring. With careful planning, the benefits of Copilot Studios far outweighs its constraints in most cases. And in conclusion, Microsoft Copilot represents a significant leap in how organizations can build and deploy AI solutions. In terms of functionality, it abstracts the complexity of AI and provides a user-friendly platform to create intelligent agents that converse naturally and execute tasks. The one main downside to AI, in my opinion, is doing nothing or not taking the time to experiment with these uses within your system. This will get you farther and set you up for success when you're ready to move forward. Start building your mind how AI can drive your business further and take the first step with Copilot Studios. The future of your business is waiting. Don't miss out on the opportunity to innovate and excel. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.